There's a century-old paradigm that is about to be broken. A model that in the minds of many is practically a guarantee, something that you can rely on for the rest of our lives and even generations after us. A paradigm is a pattern, a model, a system, a belief that is perceived to be the truth, and it may even be the truth for a short time. Even after new data comes in to disprove it, this belief system is defended until the day it cannot be. Portugal, Spain, Netherlands, France, and Britain, all at one point in time during the past 6 centuries, have had the global reserve currency, a currency that dominated trade and was considered a global medium of exchange, even to those residents outside of their borders. Since 1944, the US dollar has held that title, an entire monetary system that has been built around that very truth. Global trade, contracts, and commodities are for the most part priced and done in dollars. For many people, especially living in the US, this truth is something that will always be. The thought that the US dollar not being the reserve currency is ridiculous if you ask some. But if you just take 20 minutes to review what countries like China, Russia, Brazil, India, and many others are doing, you can clearly see that the US dollar paradigm is about to shift dramatically. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow or in 3 years from now, though it could. What it does mean is that the major players in the world are actively preparing and even pushing for this paradigm shift. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently said, "The petrodollar must die. The dollar monopoly in energy is damaging Russia's economy." A Chinese state-funded news outlet called for a de-Americanized world to overcome the influence the US budget and possible default will have on the global economy. According to the IMF, the dollar accounted for 51% of international foreign exchange reserves in 2013, a number that is down from 71% in 1999. The euro in that same time period grew from 17.9% to 32.4%. This year, we have seen a doubling of companies which settle transactions in yuan, now 22%. Of those who use the renminbi, 60% intend to increase volumes in 2015. China in 2014 overtook the US as the biggest trading economy, and it is forecasted that in 2015, 30% of their trade will be outside of the US dollar. Individual transactions and deals this year are getting larger and larger. We now see headlines: China and Canada, China and Russia, Russia and Brazil. Recent sanctions on Russia have only accelerated the death of the dollar system, with Russia announcing its intention to have its own international interbank system by May of 2015. India, Brazil, Russia, South Africa, and China announced over the summer that they are set to establish an alternative to the World Bank. In this announcement, they openly stated that this new bank was to ensure the economic stability should the US dollar continue to fluctuate. The new development bank will begin making loans in 2016. This story was largely ignored by the mainstream press in the US, but this is a very big story. The World Bank is how the US and its core allies keep the rest of the world dependent on the dollar system by keeping emerging nations in debt denominated in dollars. With this new alternative World Bank, it will be just another strike against the world dollar dependency. The paradigm shift has begun. The deniers will be shocked until the day the new paradigm begins, which leaves us with a great question. What does come the next day after the dollar dies? Look for next week's Weekly Wealth Digest, November 26th, the day after the dollar dies. You may also want to check out The Death of King Dollar.
If the dollar loses its reserve currency status, the US will have to pay its debt with real value, instead of just increasing its money supply. It could not sell bonds to foreign countries as it does now at such low rates of return. Interest rates could easily rise high enough that the US government would have to spend half of its income just to pay for the interest on previous borrowing. This is why the Fed will say and do anything to keep interest rates low. Many large countries have been making major moves in the last 5 years to stop transacting in US dollars. In July of this year, at the 6th annual